Welcome back, guys. Welcome to
Hey,
the
Kyle.
Insider Outsider podcast, or the Outsider Insider podcast, whatever I choose to name it this one. And we're back with our host, Ahmed. He is, as you know, Forbes top 20, under 20. He is currently 14 years old, and I believe he is worth $6.2 billion, all self made. He pretty much created AI, like ChatGPT. That's him. All right. It wasn't Sam Altman. This is the guy. So, yeah, man. It's nice to have you on the pod. Appreciate you helping up a small fish like me.
So Sam Altman has stole my idea, so just
Yeah.
to put it out there.
Yeah, but he gave him a good check though,
Uh,
so he gave him a good check.
Talking
But yeah,
smack directly to
but yeah,
Sam Altman.
we were talking about
But
my
let's get back
philosophy.
to
Yeah, we were talking about my philosophy on sleep right
yeah.
before the podcast started. So I have a lot of chess books because I'm a big player of chess. And so some people ask, why do you like chess books? Like, what do you do with this? What's your ideas? I'm gonna explain to my ideas. So I believe anything can be trained. So currently, I'm trying to trade my sleep on two things. I'm trying to learn how to lucid dream. I'm trying to even see if that's even a positive thing to do. And then I'm also trying to get better sleep in a shorter amount of time. So, for example, I'm a big believer on the more stress you add onto your life, the more how would I say, the more resilient you get to more stress. So, for example, if a person deals with one piece of stress only, they're always stressed because they're only able to deal with one thing on their plate. But as soon as that person adds two things, they're stressed out for that period of time until they get used to dealing with two things at the same time. And the idea goes that the man who is used to dealing with 20 different things at the same time, he whenever he only has 10, he's easy to breeze. And I believe the more better you get at business, the better you get at anything in your life. When you're at the top of your field, you have to be able to juggle everything around, whether it's family, whether it's career, whether it's business, and however you do it. And one of the beliefs that I have is, if you sleep less, you can train your body to sleep less. Now, to a degree, I don't know if this theory is going to be correct or not, because this is one of my personal theories. So this is my idea. I have done extensive sleep studies with this, with Aura rings, with the ideas, because I had the first Aura ring. Obviously, that one's garbage now, but and I also have sleep apnea. So I was able to fix my sleep apnea by losing actual weight, and I was able to fix it pretty well. But my idea is, if I train my body, when I sleep 8.5 hours, that's primal for me. So 8.5 hours, if I sleep 8.5 hours, no yawning throughout the day, full focus, no clouds, everything solid. But I'm trying to get my baseline to 7.5 to 6.5. And so currently I'm sleeping about 4.5 hours, which you're probably thinking is a drastic difference. But I'm sorry for breathing a little loud today. Had a long day, but that goes from the position that currently that I'm in my life, and that's having to juggle around businesses. And I also force myself to wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, and so having to juggle all this around, wanting to learn extensively on the knowledge that I want to pursue, having to focus on YouTube, and then also wanting to focus on the gym, fitness. Obviously, that's a huge portion of my life, but also want to really focus on dialing on businesses, stocks, everything that I absolutely love to do in the day. I currently am only able to sleep 4.5 hours. Now, could I sneak more hours in? 100%. But uh, I do also, just like everybody else, I get days off path. I have very high ADHD, and I'm and because of that, I have to focus. But regardless, the idea that I have is, if I can get used to sleeping at 4.5 hours, where it's not my optimum, but it's really good, then when I get back to sleeping 6 hours, I will be in a very good state. That is my opinion. And so, few things I'm going to be doing to get around this is, I'm not going to be really taking melatonin gummies. I was trying that initially, but I'm going to take off all electronics, blue light, away from me for about half an hour before I go to bed, and I'm going to replace that with reading books. So that is one of the ideas I'm going to use to help me. And the second part that I was speaking about, and I don't know I'm speaking a lot. I already spoke for almost 5 minutes, but lucid dreaming. I initially wanted to learn how to lucid dream because I was like, if I'm able to lucid dream and have a book right here and I can pick up the book and read the whole book, then while I'm sleeping, I can keep learning. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but man, I love learning. Absolutely love learning. But uh, from everything that I've read, is because the logical part of your brain is sleeping, everything becomes eruptible. Like, it's not going to make sense to you. If you try to use calculations, for example, the numbers aren't going to look right. So I was thinking, what's the point of lucid dreaming in that case, other than just have fun? And I don't want to have fun. I want to make it productive. Like, if you could make 8 hours of your life while you sleep productive, man, you could accomplish anything, right? You could get a whole degree while you're doing that in a matter of months. But I think I found a solution. Here's my solution. I have come up with this myself. I don't know if anybody else is a theorist in this idea, but what if I have an audiobook version of what I wanted. So let's just say I sleep listening to an audiobook, and I'm able to now lucid dream out of my state, and I'm able to fully dial in on this audiobook. I can have a notepad like I have with me right now, and I'm able to actually take notes, understand the entire audiobook throughout 8 hours of period. So if I can double team and I double speed my audiobook, and I have two audiobooks that are 8 hours each, I can finish two whole audiobooks worth of knowledge in the whole time that I'm taking about sleeping. What do you think about my thesis?
I think you've mentioned a lot of subtopics that I have little conversations that I feel like kind of collect the one into one
Mm-hmm.
narrative.
Let's hear
And
it.
just being a close friend of Rav, I've been able to see what he's been able to accomplish and stuff. And I really think that although he might have suggested that he's ADHD and he has a whole bunch of these subtopics and like side quests and side hobbies, he understands the 1% rule and how that applies. He understands how small change can impact and accumulate and lead to big change. And there's this cat right there.
Yeah, one of my cats. Just vibing.
Um, just to use the cat as something to bounce off of
Uh huh.
and use it something within the context of what I'm trying to articulate.
Mm-hmm.
Cats are known to have this thing with frequency. They have a purr,
Mm-hmm.
and they use this purr scientifically. And you could quote me on this,
Yeah,
but
that
from what I
it's like
understand,
healing or something like that. I haven't looked too deep into it,
yeah,
but apparently there's something to do with that. I don't know if this one ever wants to heal me.
exactly.
This
They
one's
have
always
their
busy
joints.
clawing. Are you
They,
good, buddy?
they heal their own joints. They heal their own connective tissue with this like frequency stuff, the purring.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that I like to, the way that I like to think is kind of similar to Rav, and I see myself in him in some ways, and we disagree and agree in a lot of areas, but I think we agree more than we disagree.
A
But
lot more. Mm-hmm.
within the context of game theory, there is this thing that there's levels at which you come at game theory that you can succeed.
Mm-hmm.
You could increase your probability of success. And the first layer is you start to work with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I see is this YouTube channel and me in connection to Revender is kind of like when you enter phase one of game theory to evolve and get better at increasing your probability of success, you kind of join teams. You play devil's advocate with each other, you with someone who disagrees with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a more nuanced understanding of what you're doing. And one of the things that he talked about was sleep and dreams, lucid dreaming. And I really like this topic because I've read within Napoleon Hill. Um, I think before I enter this subtopic in Napoleon Hill, I should express this idea of like uh, this concept of polarity, where you have to have both aspects, both extremes within at the same
Mm-hmm.
time simultaneously to get some sort of golden ratio or like a Fibonacci. It's like chaos and order. It's like a perfect middle.
Uh-huh.
And what he mentioned was in Napoleon Hill, what he talks about is the subconscious ability, that your subconscious's ability to actually do um, give you logical
Mm-hmm.
discernments. What I'm saying here is you have a conscious mind that is active and it involves you critically thinking and kind of being very, very active within problem solving. And then you have this other ability that people don't pay attention to that I think Napoleon Hill highlights is you whatever things you deal with in the day, whatever topics you talk about in the day, they kind of accumulate and your subconscious keeps track of them. And what happens when you sleep, if you get really good sleep, it's called REM sleep, rapid
Uh-huh.
eye movement sleep. I personally check this because it has other implications, but it helps sleep helps memory. Not only that, your subconscious is highly active at creating a solution for whatever problem you're solving. So I think having the conscious and the subconscious, the polarity between those two, active on one problem is exactly what you want to do when you're trying to tackle any sort of problem. And so like this is my own take in combination with Napoleon Hill's interpretation. What he says is all the people that you talk to, everything that you do on a daily basis actually impacts your subconscious. And when you go to sleep, your subconscious actually thinks of the most creative ways to figure out solutions. And so you need both both things at play. You need the conscious mind to be constantly trying to problem solve, and the subconscious mind. And then there's some sort of breakthrough. There's like this. To go back to frequency, it's like this perfect frequency that breaks glass. If you've seen it, if you go too low or you go too high, it doesn't shatter the glass. What I'm saying is, you need both polar. You need the both opposites, order and chaos, to come together. And I think ADHD is the perfect manifestation of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But Ravinder, although he suggests he's ADHD, he's able to harness the full effects of being highly organized. When
I don't
someone
think we're
who's
organized, but yeah,
yeah,
maybe in some sort of sense. I think you can
there's
see
a
my
relation
background
between
to see I'm not
yes.
organized.
I know. Honestly, waking up at 3 a.m. That is organization.
Mm-hmm.
That is that's a habit that you're consciously ensuring that your time is allocated
Mm-hmm.
correctly, and that's the
Somebody
basis
doesn't
of
want to believe it, by the way. Let me just show you right now. I'll be doing anything. 3 a.m., buddy.
yeah, yeah.
3 a.m. every day.
So I'm not sure if we covered all the notions that you
Yeah,
suggested
what about the
earlier.
lucid dreaming? I'm very curious to hear your ideas on my lucid dreaming theory.
I don't mean to have non-empirical interpretation here, but I genuinely believe that it's like casting a fishing net of some sort into the ether.
Uh-huh.
What do I mean by that? I've seen online that a lot of these super um, genius level creativity and multi like usually these people are not recognized until they die. They're called visionaries. They they're able to see things 200 years before the consensus can,
Mm-hmm.
and usually um, they're crucified or they're told that they're crazy, and it kind of fits the other one of my cookie cutter interpretations that I mentioned earlier, the polarity.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be to be intellectual, you must be insane simultaneously. They have to work together in combination, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
middle. And a lot of these people are interpreted as insane, and so you will. What I mean by that is you'll see the whitefish in the blackfish, and I'm trying to talk about the yin and yang.
Yeah, I understand that.
These two fish are chasing each other, and when one of the fishes reaches the tail of the other fish, you get a glimpse into the polar opposite.
Hmm.
You get a glimpse into so at the edge of highly intellectual, highly smart people, you find insanity. You find the tail of the other fish.
Mm-hmm.
So to reiterate, you said what I wanted to say was when you go to sleep, you're actually in contact with the subconscious. I also think you're in contact with where the soul goes. You're actually more directly within like the ether. This is just a theory. Has no bait.
Mm-hmm.
It has weak
We're going to
basis.
a Joe Rogan
The
podcast. I
basis.
like it.
You kind of yeah.
Do you think?
Basically, yeah, I
Do
really
you
love his topics too.
do you
I enjoy watching
do
this
you
stuff.
think that the idea of lucid dreaming is real? Like that's what the first I'm trying to find out. Now, there are clearly a lot of, from what I've seen, a lot of people who have claimed that they've been able to do lucid dreaming. They claim what they were able to be done. But again, I guess so. I was like, it's something to that may have absolutely no theory because I'm a very logical person. But if the 1% chance that the probability is you can absolutely still be functional while you're sleeping,
Mhm.
man, that's just a deal. That's just a game changer for me because 33% of your life you're gonna be sleeping. But if you have 33% more to function to learn to grow yourself, man, that's fantastic. And I hope, what the funny thing is when I told this idea to my sister, and a couple of other buddies, like they were laughing because they're like, "Oh my god, you wanna you wanna learn more like while you're sleeping," and to me, man, from high school to university, I hated learning. I absolutely hated learning. I don't even think I finished a single book, but it was after I fell in love with learning myself. That's when, and I feel like you have to learn to love, man. And when I found that now, man, if I can spend 24 hours of my day learning, beautiful. That's what I like. And so now, again, I'll try it out. I'll give you guys updates if the lucid dream works out. I downloaded a couple of audiobooks that I'm gonna listen to get ideas. I know there's some ideas with some salt. Like there's I'm of course very new into it, but again, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it was just I never think anything's a waste of time, right? But you can learn if something's BS or not, right? So I'll keep you updated on it. The second thing we want to talk about today,
I'm
yeah.
I'm way more in line with. I like the idea of lucid dreaming. Not only like it, I think I can back it with some empiricism, in my opinion. But what was the other subtopic you were
Here,
just about
actually,
to mention?
before we finish this, let me get your idea about my personal theory, though. So, from everything that I've seen, I saw everybody saying that learning was inoperable, like it was very difficult. So, for example, like calculators, if you used, it wouldn't give you the right answer. So, one way that people say that you know if you're dreaming was if you, I think it was Joe Rogan. I was listening to a podcast on this one, and then so Joe Rogan, because I learned this all very recently while I'm looking into diving into this knowledge. Somebody was knocking a door every time they passed a room. Okay, so
Yeah,
because in their dream, if they pass a door, they still knock because subconsciously does it. Now they realize, oh, I just knocked at the door because they always realize they're doing it, and that's how they were able to realize they're in a dream. For somebody else, they every so often, a couple of times in the day, they would take out their phone and they would just type simple calculations into a calculator, and uh,
yeah, yeah.
and then what would happen is randomly through they would type in a random calculation and it would be some weird ass number or not even a number, and that's how they would realize in the moment that they're in their dream, and that's how they would start to become lucid dreaming. Now apparently, if you get too excited too quickly, you wake up.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be able to control yourself enough where you realize you're in a dream and then take advantage of the situation that you're in, and and
I
so
always my lucid dreams is I go flying. I've done it several times. It's super fun.
so you're
Have you ever
saying
tried
lucid
flying?
dreaming
Have
is
you ever
real.
had a
So
lucid dream?
you're saying lucid dreaming
Yeah,
is
oh yeah,
100%.
I know I have like this isn't obviously an opinion, right? This
Uh,
isn't you're listening to another person, and
outside our
genuinely like
podcast,
I
buddy.
understand.
We're about to
Yeah,
be
but
inside you
I
real soon.
I've caught myself in the middle of the dream, and I don't know that it's a dream, and I'm like, wait a second, I can fly. I
so
can
so
decide to
what?
fly.
How have you caught yourself in a lucid dream? That's how. Is it
Several
just you just
several
realize?
times. It's just some things don't happen within reality,
Uh,
and there's almost like an aha moment that you'll have in a dream. That's like, wait a second, why is there something that's outside the ordinary happening? Oh,
right.
must be a dream.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
kidding. And the more that you're subconsciously or consciously thinking about lucid dreaming, the easier it is to like what you're saying are some techniques, which is interesting.
Uh,
Yeah, those are techniques that are I think that they're not only theoretical, they're actually strong.
so yeah, but then
I actually
what do you think about
I
the
have
learning
I
portion?
have dreams of flying.
So
Uh,
okay, what?
so within the context of learning, I'm not really satisfying that part, but I do fly every single time I lucid dream.
How's
Like
flying feeling?
maybe 9 out of the 10
How do you feel
times.
flying?
It's like the funnest thing to do to fly, man. And if anyways, let's go back to the benefit of lucid dreaming, not
But
just the
okay,
enjoyment.
but what about? So
But
let's
the
just say, for
learning
example,
process, I think that yes,
so if audio is playing because you're actually able to listen to it, do you think
yeah,
that in a version of lucid dreaming, you would be able to actually interpret audio? Because I sleep every day listening to a book, and usually when I sleep, uh, I used to listen to like educational books, but then I found out that I have no recollection of what I listened to. So then now I just listen to stories. So like right now I'm listening to The Three Musketeers, right? Yeah, I just like I love that. Like it's a
yeah,
great book. I put on 30-minute
yeah.
timer. I'm passed out usually before. But so what if now instead of that I could put on a Albert Einstein book or I could put on a book on an equation or anything. And if I'm able to lucid dream, I can listen to it while I'm sleeping for 8 hours. I can study nonstop. Do you think that that's a
I think you need
feasibility?
to
Huh?
I think that would for me, in my opinion, and I'm no sleep specialist. I'm not a
I
PhD in
think you're a
sleep,
sleeping
but
specialist. That's why I'm asking you.
I just really love I really love sleeping,
uh,
especially sleeping in, not waking up at 3 a.m.
uh-huh.
But but I really love the science around sleeping and efficiency that it brings to you. Like from what I understand, it actually resets your brain. It cleans all the. Imagine you
Toxins and
had
everything out. Yeah. Every time you
a
sleep,
really
your body
powerful
rest.
engine. Yeah, it's but all the sugars, like 80% of your calories, especially if you're like one of these engineers that does like fucking equations all day, you're gonna fry your brain. And what I mean by that, you're gonna be churning out all this. Your brain needs to reset, and sleep is a way that it resets. There's like these fluids that, um,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Build up
clean
toxins
the
and
areas.
everything.
Yeah.
So you can only happen while you're sleeping.
One of my favorite podcasts that I listen to is called the Tom Bilyeu. I hope I'm not throwing the name, saying it correctly.
Hmm.
Have you heard of Tom Bilyeu?
I don't believe I have. What are they about?
His YouTube channel is called Impact Theory. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
One of the guys that he had hosted talks about type 3 diabetes.
Uh-huh.
And if you were to guess what type 3 diabetes is,
I'm not aware of
what's
type
your
3
best guess?
diabetes. I know type 1 and type 2, but I
I know
don't
everyone thinks it's type 1 and type 2.
know.
But so diabetes at its basis is an inability to convert energy or like in store energy, or it's an energy inefficiency problem, right?
Uh-huh.
With sugar
Yeah, yeah.
body. Type 1 or type 2, they differ. One of
Mhm.
them is dependent on and someone's not dependent. But type 3 diabetes actually has to do with the brain's ability to process energy.
Mhm.
And like you said earlier, I really wanted to connect this before we got here, but I guess we're connecting it now. Um, is when you yawn, it's actually because you have a lack of oxygen in your brain,
Mm.
and
Really?
it's a way
That's huh?
to
Oh
yeah.
no.
And so like imagine you were just to hold your breath and try and do a bunch of math, like just hold your breath for like 1 minute straight.
Mm.
It's like don't breathe at all, and
Mhm.
then try and do anything functional with your frontal lobe.
Mhm.
It'll
Ain't
be very
working.
hard.
Ain't working.
So I think yawning is an indication that you haven't reset, you haven't recalibrated. And if you're playing efficiency games, getting 1% better every single day, you're gonna prioritize your sleep. You want to be sharp.
Mhm.
You want to be tuned in on the
I've
frequency, the
heard
correct
of that
frequency.
as well. I'm gonna disagree with you on that point. So you that it is a very very good point, right? Like if you want to be the most
I don't
efficient.
think we disagree. No,
Uh,
I need to add more, but
but
we'll
here
go ahead.
let me get my point out. So from if you listen to a lot of successful people, like people who really make it, like other than like Elon Musk, because he's an outsider, less like us. But if you listen to Jeff Bezos, he talks about how he prioritizes sleep. He puts on no alarm. He wakes up when he wakes up, and Bill Gates does very similar. You hear a lot from these people, but and so it takes away from hustle culture. But the way I see it is, they're telling you you hear a lot of good stuff about sleep from people who already made it, right? But you can't look at what somebody's position is today and say that, oh, what he's doing today, like some people like, oh, I have a 4 hour morning routine. I go walk in the grass with bare feet. You didn't do that when you were living in a crusty ass apartment and barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
You were not doing it, right? So you have to look at the position that somebody was in the moment that they did before they created greatness, not after they created greatness. And a thing that I've seen consistently time and time again is the most efficient people, the people who have created the best stuff, such as Elon Musk, such as Jeff Bezos. There was many moments in their life where they were dealt with extensive amounts of stress and they did
Mhm.
not stop, which means they put in the hours, 18, 19-hour days. And you if you read biographies of some of the most successful people alive, one of the consistent things I always see is talking about how much time they're actually awake rather than asleep.
I agree.
Uh-huh.
I definitely. So what I assumed you were going to talk about was how you can build this kind of resilience,
Yeah,
and
the
definitely the
resilient
body
thing is
has
my theory. I don't know if
systems.
it's gonna be working, but we'll see. We'll
No, no,
see.
I don't think it has poor substance behind it. I think it has substance behind it.
Because they
I think
did
that
find. My apologies, I
your
didn't mean
body
to cut you
has.
off, but there
No, go ahead.
has been proven that there are people who are able to, with this some
Yeah,
sort of gene or something, that are able to sleep 4 hours a day or 3 hours a day, and they have a full rest night and night of sleep. Like their brain is healthy, everything's functional, and
that's
they
like
don't
the
even
hurt.
feel.
Eddie Hall. I've never heard of Eddie Hall.
Hmm.
He's world's strongest man within the context of performance, strength performance. He has something called the Hercules gene.
Yeah, where they just
It
build
was
where
like
where it starts with M, some sort of
myosin,
yeah. It
the
just does.
myosin.
Yeah. They have a
Sorry, not myosin.
deficiency in it.
Myostatin.
They have a
I'm
deficiency
gonna
in it,
sound like
correct?
a complete buffoon
Yeah,
called myostatin.
yeah,
Yeah, myostatin
Myostatin.
deficiency.
Yeah.
Not
That's what it's called.
myo.
And they believe this was in Ronnie Coleman as well. They believe this was in Ronnie Coleman as well.
Myostatin. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman. It regulated. He did have that DNA within the context of sleep as well. It's a rare one.
Hmm.
It's like only a small percentage of people, and similarly with Hercules gene. But that Hercules gene, just to cover bases, I feel like sometimes me and you talk very, very fast, and sometimes I say things so quick that they come out wrong. They don't come out perfect. But let me just realign that. Myostatin, this gene makes you pack on muscle as much as you
Hmm.
want. Basically, it's like
Yeah, you have no
it. So
limiting
usually,
factor.
myostatin usually
You saw
limits
the
how much
cows,
muscle you
right?
carry
You saw those cows, the Myostatin.
yeah,
Yeah. They're like 3 times the
those are
size of
cool
regular
cat.
cows.
Those,
Yeah, crazy.
but imagine the heart attacks. Your body is limited by the your heart's ability to pump blood.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? That's why they say like taller people die earlier because pumping blood on a larger frame is harder.
Yes, obviously
And
takes longer.
like, but we're talking about efficiencies here, right? Like within different contexts, um, within different environments, situations, certain predispositions thrive, others don't. I think that it's within the context of stress and operating under resistance. Some people, it's not an easy black and white answer. It's a case by case.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I genuinely think. I think you are definitely correct in the scenario that someone does have that perfect alignment of genetics, where they have a ridiculous over adaptation to stress, right? Even if, let's say, muscles, like if you didn't have that if you didn't have that Hercules gene, bud, you're gonna turn into a twig, because no, it doesn't matter how much protein you're eating, you're overtraining,
Mm-hmm.
and the stimuli is becoming too much. And like sleeping 1 hour is not gonna make you some huge resilient to sleep. No, no, it has to be fine tuned. You have to be reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
make a lot of
So
sense.
like,
And let me rebuttal with one point. And so it makes a lot of sense, right? You have to have a bunch of different circumstances and circuits working in conjunction to make this feasible. Uh, Here's the question, though. That's the question I have.
yeah, yeah,
With working out in the gym, it's very well known that it's harder to first impact enough energy and enough time and effort and food to be able to get yourself to a certain body weight, a certain size, a certain muscle. But getting back
yeah,
to it after you've done it once is substantially easier. I'm talking about it's instead of years, it would take months. So, like you've seen this obviously with transformations, right? Like it takes 11 years for somebody to build a body. They have some sort of really bad genetically problem or an issue or something that unfortunately happens, and then they come back in a
yeah.
matter of months versus a matter of years. And so, could that not be that if I train my body to function on 4 hours of sleep, even if that might be the healthiest in the short term, but because every time I'm able to give it an extra sleep cycle, because sleep cycle is what, once every 1.5 to 3 hours, right? So it's 3 hours most majority of the time. That's from what's said. So if you give yourself a whole 3 hours of sleep, and then now it's 6 hours instead of four, you will substantially get a
Mhm.
lot better, even though you're not exactly at the 8.5 hours, because your body is so used to 4.5 hours. It has to function anyway. Yeah, because your body's adaptive, right? Like that's what and
Yeah.
so the one thing is in my 20s, it's better to do this experiment now in our 20s rather than do it in our 30s or 40s when your body is less resilient to change. That's how I see it, though. I'm not too sure how you see it, but that's my philosophy behind it.
Well, what's really sensitive, the piece of data that I do
And
have
again, this is all
that
I'm
I
saying.
think
I'm not telling anybody to sleep less hours. This is something I'm personally just doing myself.
I think your results speak for themselves, and whatever you've done to achieve that, it might differ for somebody else. So I think we should articulate to the viewer that sleep is something you shouldn't fuck with. This is just my opinion.
Uh huh.
Obviously, uh, Rav's been able to uh, wake up really early and really use those hours effectively.
But
If you use them
I
effectively,
will say, I don't take naps. I force myself never to take
one
naps. Uh, yeah, sorry, continue.
one
I'll let you.
night, the empiricism that has to be put forth here is one night of bad sleep takes about 7 days to undo.
Yeah, but here's I'm not too sure about the exact number behind it,
That's a
I
sensitive.
could see it. But
That's a very sensitive.
let me tell you this though. I never take naps.
Mhm.
I don't believe in naps. I hate naps because it takes time to sleep. It takes time to wake up. It takes time before we go to sleep, after sleep, and I feel like it's just a waste of hours. However, there's one thing I will not say every 1 to 2 weeks. Every 1 to 2 weeks, I always crash. I crash one day. So that's not me taking a nap, but I'm saying in night instead of me sleeping at 3 or waking up at 3, right? So from 9 to 3 or from 10 to 3, whatever my hours are that day. Sorry, my cat's whining, but I can't let her out because they're moving stuff, so I gotta make sure she's safe. But but
Mhm.
uh, one night I'm gonna cancel my shit. I'm gonna say it's so fucking bad now. I can't think, I can't function, so I have to take a whole 10-hour reset, right? But in my opinion, even doing a 10-hour reset still nets me net positive hours throughout the week rather than sleeping a total of 8 hours because I'm saving almost 3 to 4 hours. Again, depending, my average sleep is between 4 to 5 hours every single night.
I think some viewers are like, some of the viewers have probably seen this online, and there's a guy that's like, I get 3 weeks of time within 1 week of your equivalent to you.
Yeah, yeah, I use that as well. But that's jokes. But I'm like, oh,
Dude,
every 1 hour of yours is equivalent to two. Every 1 hour
You
mine
could
is
go,
equivalent to 24 hours of
yeah,
yours.
yeah. Like I'm all for efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I like the game of
The
strategizing
notion.
efficiency,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I thought that yeah, the make really good strategy, checkmate your life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of the things that I listen to and I feel like I'm a strong have a strong opinion on is this thing called natural law. You've heard of natural law?
No, explain it. And I guess this will be our
You know,
final
God.
topic. We didn't even get to our subtopic. We're already 30 minutes in.
So you know, like success.
Okay,
When
success.
someone says success, all I hear in my head is God did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like DJ Khaled, God did.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean by that, like beyond the stupid joke about DJ Khaled, because he's very, very fit.
Yeah. I saw in a recent
Six
Mr.
pack.
Beast video. I think he's looking a lot jacked, more jacked than he normally does. So I think he's doing pretty good at that front.
You know, he's very financially well off. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Success, I feel like, can be measured in the financial terms or non-financial terms, and I feel like a lot of copium is within that notion of like you could just really cope with whatever you define as success. Does not have to be success. At the same time, you have to have devil's advocate playing in the background. Are you putting copium on your financial success? Right? Are you trying to cope and say, "Oh, I'm successful because I'm very fulfilled by my coffee in the morning"?
Mm-hmm. No, I
But
am. Trust me.
what what I mean by natural, let's go back to natural law, so just, we're not bouncing around too much. Natural law basically says that God created things within a perfect, design. And I could go back to the polarity thing that I bring up earlier, polarity or opposite, polar opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like when you observe polar opposites and you observe the yin and yang and how it reflects in a lot of different topics, and you could just sit there and like break them open and think through them, like night and day, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
opposites, are they not? Or you could be like, I disagree. There's actually early morning and then 15 minutes and then like 30, half an hour after sunset. No,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's night and day. They're opposites.
Mm-hmm.
And if you fuck with that perfect alignment, such as the people that do night shifts, you
Yeah,
come out of the
they're worse off for
synchronicity.
it. Yes, you're way worse off for it.
You come out of synchronicities. Okay. And in game theory, that word synchronicity, I don't know how that maps out, but I watched this professor and he's really famous right now on YouTube. He talks about to win game theory, the
No.
first thing you do is work with other people, and then you start to do transgression.
Mm-hmm.
And as you increase in transgression, on an XY chart, you see more synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know how that's implied, but uh, what I'm trying to say is like when you synchronize
Mm-hmm.
when you synchronize with this idea of polarity correctly. For example, when you seek pleasure, you get pain. Do you agree, Rev?
Yes. One or two the same.
And this maps out because pleasure maps out in like 5 different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have like the sexual, you have um the food, gluttony, you
Mm-hmm.
have the greed, right? But what you want to do to get money is not to be like doing the wrong thing. What I mean by that, to enjoy food, you don't want to be a glutton. You don't want to sit there and stuff your face,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you want to do is not drink water for a prolonged period of time. And this might be very, very biased here, but just hear me out, guys. And then you drink that time after which you've not drunk water or haven't eaten food, and then you eat, you enjoy the food, you actually get pleasure out of pursuing pain. Similarly in the gym, right? They say no pain, no gain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is every time I work out with Rab, he's just like, I'm having an orgasm while I'm lifting. Right?
Coming in the gym like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
See, if you look up to Arnold, Arnold kind of embodies that within that the same conversation. He says that he's enjoying the curls.
That really
He got his teeth out, like he has like a stadium between his teeth, like in distance. I'm enjoying I'm enjoying the lift.
down the gym.
But what I'm trying to say is like you don't want to pursue pleasure. You don't want to pursue pleasure if you want pleasure. You have to pursue some sort of pain, and then that leads to pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's within the natural law framework that the between morning and night, or the polar opposite. So like if you're greedy, you need to kill the thing that works against you. The ego works against you. The ego wants to eat when you're restricting food. The ego wants money
Mm-hmm.
when you're giving money away to people that deserve it, like family that are needed. But what you do in that is you build a resilience, a form of resilience that's, I think that resilience was intended for a human to actually master,
Mm-hmm.
and they master it they master it in context to every expression of the ego, but the selfish ego. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, if you're a CEO, and I learned this recently because I went to this huge business thing where they talk about business. It says if you're trying to convince someone to join you on a business, like that you're a CEO or a founder and you want a co-founder, you can't just tell them, "Hey, we're here for the money." Like if that's your pitch, you're pretty like you have no substance. What you really need to pitch with is what legacy,
Mm-hmm.
or how do you leave the world after you're finished?
Mm-hmm.
You've climbed the mountain that you've climbed the mountain that you put your eyes on, and the one that you've tried to, like one of the mountains that Rav is trying to climb, and I'd be the one pushing you up, like just like really trying to. We're talking symbolically here,
This is
obviously.
out. We have
But
to. I think we have to end the podcast. I think I gotta get going because the cats get a little
no,
crazy over here.
brother, the politics,
I know, but
you want to become a
well,
politician, and you want to leave the world better than what
oh yeah, a lot
where it
better.
started off
Take
with.
it to the next civilization, buddy.
How long did we do this pod for? Anybody?
This pod is over 37 minutes now. So here, let's cut off today. Let's leave this as sleep efficiency question mark question mark. Okay, is it actually gonna work? Who knows?
We'll see. Catch you guys on the next pod.
Next
I really
one.
wanted your input on this, but I guess that Rav has a time constraint of some
Yeah.
sort, and
Well,
we
we
respect
will.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we will get to this tomorrow. So this will be posting tomorrow. Then we'll get the next episode set up. So again,
Please
subscribe, like, please share.
subscribe to the
We
channel.
are looking for haters and lovers. Everybody, please. And a lot of lovers for this guy because he ain't married yet. All right,
I'm I'm married to this game, bro.
married to the game. All right,
Bye.
all right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.